You guys, welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is gonna be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in and household debt has reached $16.5 trillion in Q3 of 2022. And that includes mortgage loans, auto loans, credit cards, student debt, and other loans. And today what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna go over all of those details by deep diving into the data just to see how much debt American households are actually in. Now, within each of these categories, I think the information is incredibly important to understand because on top of when people are drowning in debt, if they're also broke, then the story is going to end very, very bad. And as a result, we'll likely have a surge in bankruptcies, short sales, and foreclosures going into 2023 and into 2024. And the sheer amount of debt right now, guys, that people are in is absolutely shocking. And with home values also going down, some of these people will have no choice but to face foreclosure, short sale, or bankruptcy. Now, before we start our deep dive today, remember, guys, I am not your financial advisor, even though my bio is as a realtor, loan officer, instructor in all things real estate, hide and go seek champion, husband that wants to step up and do the dishes, frustrated renter. I also own real estate for the haters because I get a lot of hate. They're, oh, you're renting. You can't possibly know a lot. I know enough to save a lot of people from financial ruin, right? Or at least that's what I'm saying. But regardless, guys, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and shoot me a comment below. Either way, let's get started on the video now. So we're going to take a look at the data from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and I'm also going to show you guys some Fred data charts that actually have recently updated. But the name of the article, and it will be in my description, is titled Total Household Debt Reaches 16.51 trillion in Q3 of 2022. Mortgage and auto loan originations decline. Year-over-year increase in credit card balances are the largest in more than 20 years. So let's read a little bit of the summary right here, and then I'm going to go down and break down each of the debts individually just to show you the total amount of debt. And you guys may have seen my credit card video. You guys, school loans, insane the amount of school loans. I mean, the debt is insane. We'll get to that in a minute here. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York Center for Microeconomic Data today issued its quarterly report of household debt and credit. The report shows an increase in total household debt in the third quarter of 2022, increasing by $351 billion or 2.2% to $16.51 trillion. Jeez, that's a lot of money, guys. Balances now stand 2.36 trillion higher than the end of 2019, before the pandemic recession. Jeez. The report is based on data from the New York Fed's National Representative Consumer Credit Panel. Mortgage balances rose by $282 billion in the third quarter of 2022 and stood at $13.67 trillion at the end of September. Jeez. Representing a $1 trillion increase from the previous year. That's so much money, guys. Credit card balances also increased by $38 billion. The 15%, you guys, in 1 year, credit card balances went up 15%. So the 15% year-over-year increase in credit card balances represents the largest in more than 20 years. Auto loan balances increased by $22 billion in the third quarter, consistent with the upward trajectory since 2011. Student loan balances slightly declined and now stand at $1.57 trillion. Insane. In total, non-housing balances grew by $66 billion. Mortgage originations, which include refinances, stood at $633 billion in the third quarter, representing a $126 billion decline from the second quarter and a return to pre-pandemic volumes. The volume of newly originated auto loans was $185 billion, a slight reduction from the previous quarter, but still elevated compared to the average volume seen through 2018 and 2019 period. Aggregate limits on credit card accounts increased by $82 billion and now stand at $4.3 trillion, or credit limits rather. That's kind of shocking, isn't it? 4.3 trillion. Housing debt. There was $633 billion in newly originated mortgage debt in Q3 of 2023. After 2 years of historically high volumes of mortgage originations, the Q3 volume more closely resembles pre-pandemic levels. Although the foreclosure moratorium has been lifted nationally, new foreclosures have stayed very low since the CARES Act moratorium was put into place. About 28,000 individuals had new foreclosure notations on their credit report. Student loans. Outstanding student loan debt stood at 1.57 trillion in Q3 of 2022. The decline likely reflects some of the discharge debt due to the closed school discharge and public service loan forgiveness program, offsetting the typical seasonal originations with the start of the academic year. About 4% of the aggregate student debt was 90 plus days delinquent or in default in Q3 of 2023. So 4%, 90 days or more past due. Insane, guys. Insane. When it comes to $1.5 trillion. The lower level of student debt delinquency reflects the continued repayment pause on student loans, which is scheduled to end January 1st, 2023. So again, you guys, it's going to get really bad in 2023. It's just starting right now in 2022. It started around, in my opinion, it started when the Fed started doing quantitative tightening. That's when the crash started. I think you guys will eventually see that in the data. But one thing is for sure, America is not only broke, America is drowning in debt. Okay, so let's put it in perspective and break this $16 trillion down. Now, this is the household debt and credit developments. Okay, so this is basically just a category. This is the total column right here, guys. Here's the annual change. So this is a year over year change. So obviously, as you can see here, mortgage debt, I mean, it went up from quarter to quarter, 282 billion. That's insane, you guys. So there's $11.6 trillion right now in mortgage debt. If the entire United States stopped making their payments, the entire country would fall apart. Home equity lines of credit is 320 billion, you guys. So home equity lines of credit obviously surged $3 billion quarter over quarter. Student debt, this one hit me by surprise. I just didn't realize how much student debt there was. I didn't realize there's $1.5 trillion in student debt. That went down $10 billion year over year. So that's pretty cool. But look at the auto debt, you guys. The auto debt is out of control. The auto debt went up $22 billion in just one quarter. We're sitting now in auto debt. Okay, you guys ready for this? $1.5 trillion in auto debt. That's wicked. And then we have credit card debt. Credit card debt is sitting at $930 billion. This is going to hit 1 trillion. Watch. In next quarter, I'm going to call it right now, guys. Next quarter, the credit card debt is going to hit $1 trillion. Mark my words. We'll see that soon. Other debt represented 490. Maybe that's like signature loans or installment loans, personal loans, and things of that nature. But obviously, you guys, that all totals the $16.5 trillion in household debt. Now, this is really interesting. Here is the delinquency numbers. Okay, so this is people that are serious delinquent. Okay, so serious delinquencies. And this is essentially comparing year over year delinquency. Okay, so it's comparing Q3 of 2021 to Q3 of 2022. So you can see the mortgage debt delinquencies have almost doubled. In 1 year, mortgage delinquencies, and I'm talking 90 days or more. So these are people in real super bad shape, doubled in 1 year. Also, home equity lines of credit. Look at that, more than doubled in delinquencies in 1 year to 0.51, so 0.25 to 0.51. Student loan debt, I mean, that should go down because you still don't have to pay. So why is that not going down even more? But look at the auto loan debt. That went up about, the delinquency rate on auto debt went up about 20% year over year. And you guys, things aren't even getting that hard yet. Now, here's credit card debt. Credit card debt, I mean, 3.69% of people with credit card debt are delinquent. Insane. I mean, that went up as well. See, from 3.2 to 3.6, and the other went from 2.8 and ballooned. This is crazy. Ballooned to 3.55%. So I would say this is a super clear indication that things are getting harder. And honestly, guys, it's going to get a lot harder. Let me show you why. And here's the reason why right here, guys. This is the personal savings rate by Fed Economic Data. This updated December 1st. We are only at 2.3%. We have the lowest savings rate since about 2005, I believe. But look at this. People are broke, you guys. People are absolutely broke. People ain't got no money. People, look at the savings rate before we hit lockdowns, before we hit COVID. People were saving at a rate of about 8 or 9%. Look at that. So the lockdowns destroyed people's discipline. It destroyed these good saving habits. I mean, look at how well people were saving, you guys. 7, 8, 9%. I mean, they were saving like beautifully. But again, this wrecked people. All of the stimulus, it messed up people's spending habits. It messed up a lot of people's mentality, and people are broke. 2.3%. Are you serious? And this is a 10-year look. We haven't been this broken over a decade. And here's another reason. This is the Fed economic data, consumer loans or credit cards. This is updated as of December 2nd. We're almost at $1 trillion in credit card debt. Look at this, guys. Let me show you the 5-year. Look at this. This is the 5-year. Let me show you the 10-year. Look, 40% higher than 2013. Look at this. There's going to be a point where look at this. We've never been in this much debt. This goes back to the year of 2000. The amount of credit card debt right now is skyrocketing. And quite frankly, you guys, people aren't going to be able to get in any more debt. I mean, a lot of these people are capped out. So not only are people broke, they're drowning in debt. And I hope you guys get that, because you don't have to be like one of those people. And again, the more people that are in debt, more bankruptcies, foreclosure, and short sales we're going to have. And the recession hasn't even hit yet. What do you think is going to happen when the recession hit or when school loans are due? Do y'all ever think about this? I think about this all the time. I actually stay up late at night thinking about what's going to happen next, because I want to get a good deal on a house because my family depends on it. They're depending on me to make the right decision. That's a lot of pressure. Let's conclude the video. So, in conclusion, don't be like these people. The number one thing that you should do when you're ready to start purchasing a home, or at least to start the process of buying a home, is being completely out of consumer debt, or at least not drowning in it. And you know what I mean. If you cannot get yourself out of consumer debt completely, and if you're in consumer debt, guys, and you're drowning in consumer debt, what you need to do is you need to start with the lowest credit card and work your way up. So when you're starting with the lowest credit card, you're going to want to make sure that your trade lines or your credit cards, they are at least 30% your actual credit line. That will give you guys a credit score increase for that individual trade line account. And here's another thing that this tells me. People continue to live beyond their means. And essentially what I'm saying is there's so many people, guys, that are living paycheck to paycheck just to get by. And I have news for y'all. Life doesn't have to be that way. If people would just care less about material items and more about the future, we would have a lot more winners coming up on the other side of this housing market. But sadly, guys, we don't. Most people are reckless. And as a result of that, unfortunately, that's going to make us winners. And I wish we can all be winners, guys, but that's just not how this works. You must be disciplined. But other than that, guys, I really hope you guys got some really good value, insights, and perspective from today's video. If you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck, and I hope you win.